Last time on EHoY! Yesterday was so much. I think I need to tell somebody about all this. Finally get to lie down and spend some time with you, Teddy. A tracer shows up at my door, and then I'm a conduit? And I can enchant jewelry? How sweet was Jazz? I really hope we can be friends like she said. But then there's the person I'm most confused about. Honestly, I still don't really know Lau all that well. He's spending an awfully long time on my case. Doesn't he have other things to do? I think Mum would be a little proud of us, Teddy. Speaking of, I can't stop thinking about that memory of her. If you ask me, I think it had something to do with chaos. But I have to admit, I'm feeling a little wary still. I have no idea how Ella and Maribel's husband will react to the jury. You right there, Twyla? Sounds like I'm in for a long one. How about we get opened up downstairs, and then you can tell me everything. And now continuing. Do we do it now? It doesn't matter, we'll figure it out. There we go, all done. So, you were saying about this Lau. He was the tracer that was talking to you the other day, no? He came to the store to tell me about the torrential rain in the area. It's because of me. I'd feared as much. And well, somehow we discovered that I'm a conduit.
Oh?
Oh? A conduit? How cool is that? I need to hear everything. Tell me exactly what happened. Tell me exactly what happened. I fill Uncle in on everything that's happened. Lau, enchanting jewelry, you teaming, Jazz and Maribel. How much time do you fucking have? Surely a customer comes in at some point. I can't believe this. But it's clearly the truth. Perhaps I should have known. You always did have something about you, Twyla. The way you think and see others around you. It always felt a little too familiar to me. Familiar, Like your sister? Your dead sister? Fuck, I'm sorry. Familiar? What do you mean? Is this happening? Did I call it? Well, sorry to burst your bubble a little bit, but is it you? You're not the only conduit here. What? You're a conduit too, Uncle? That I am. Although I found out when I was a fair bit older than you. No way. How is this? Is it in our blood? So it's in all of their bloods. Not just like a mother-daughter lying down the thing, witch thing going on here. You know? Cool. I like that. It could very well be. I don't think I've heard of it being a hereditary trait, however. Yeah, but like I said, it's a different world. But like, it would make sense. Right, you would think that maybe it could happen. Forces. Uncle? You're really a conduit? Why haven't you ever told me about this? There's good reason for that. Don't you worry. Listen, Twyla. Being a conduit isn't all fun and games. I hope you've realized that by now, I think so. Especially using your abilities for this kind of service. Surface? For this kind of service. It comes with a lot of responsibility. To be frank, I'm not sure it was right of this Lau fellow to go around telling everyone that you're a conduit. Though in his defense, there hasn't been any of those issues in decades. That's right, he couldn't have known. Known what? What issues? Well, there are those that seek to abuse the powers of conduits for their own gain, as is always the case. 30-odd years ago, it wasn't all too uncommon that I'd hear kidnappings, bribes, coercion, all in attempts to misuse conduit powers. Especially in the wake of the disaster. Why isn't that pink? when some grew restless and began forming all sorts of meddlesome organizations. That word is hard for me to say. Also, I guess that's why it's not pink. Though all that is an always strangely political underground crime scene, its history of tormenting conduits, that's a story for another time. But there's your answer as to why I've kept it hidden. And that's why the Circle recommends we do so. Oh, so is that why Mother didn't mention anything? Unfortunately, part of being a conduit traditionally was the fear that comes with it constantly having a target on your back. Yeah. These days, we don't have to be nearly as afraid, but throwing caution to the wind could very well change that. I mean, this feels like something that Twyla would actually just say. That feels like just... I don't want to move on. Like, we have an option here. We have an option. Let me speak it out. Our options are, how exactly would people misuse Conduit's powers? Or, move on. Let me look at the history and just, do I want to move on? Do I want to move on? No, I don't want to move on. We haven't fucking finished this conversation. Hold on. How would these criminals misuse the powers of conduits exactly? To their credit, those scum were quite creative. I can't fucking get over that. To give you an example, a loan shark might coerce a To give you an example, a loan shark might coerce a conduit to imbue an artifact with fear, and plant it inside a debitor's house. Earth below. Am I weird for... That doesn't sound like too bad. It's scummy. But fuck. Don't just say more, like, it's just... That feels like fucking standard business practice. Practice? That sounds like standard business practice in a fucking world like this. The kidnapping part, to get that done, is a bit fucked. But doing that just in the first place... The most clever of the dreadful bunch would deceive conduits into believing they had good intentions. As doing so would often lead to better results. Because, you see, there's this trend of sorts. Historically, conduits have almost always been individuals with a strong sense of morality. Oh, really? It's true. And thank the forces for it. Though, I already knew you were a good egg, Twyla. Okay, because I was thinking that maybe, like, the loan sharks could have evil conduits on their side. Anyway. Thanks, Uncle. I can't help but beam. I wish Uncle had the time to hang around the store more, so as know I could use the company. But, okay. You just have a key and he just walks in at any time. I don't like that. But okay, give me another example. And sorry if this is bringing up bad memories, but I need to know. Alright, let me think a moment. One of the lesser-known radical groups from the 70s was particularly odd. I remember reading up on them as a kid. What were they? The Free Minds Collective, that's it. They had this figurehead that could apparently purify the spirits of believers, cleansing any trace of chaos from their spirits. Not a drop of truth there, of course. He'd in fact tricked several conduits into imbuing tranquility into several large pieces of stone. Later, he fashioned them into statues of himself, and built the temple of his cult around them. That is... wild. For years, he claimed to be some kind of god amongst men. And, unfortunately, there were many gullible, but innocent folk that believed him. After all, his temple made them feel so at peace. Forces above? Really? I feel a nostalgic warmth. Even though we're talking about cults and criminals, these kinds of conversations with uncles are the ones I love the most. He always knows so much more than he lets on. Yep, ridiculous, huh? You'd never hear of this kind of nonsense happening nowadays, fortunately. Please tell me the truth came out. Well, how would he know otherwise? The truth come out? Does Colt is conduit? I don't know. People must have eventually discovered that he had tricked a bunch of conduits. Wait, am I not following the entire situation? Like, were the cult members all conduits, or were they just... was it... Huh? I don't know, I'm focusing on reading. I can absorb the story when I'm editing. People must have eventually discovered that he had just tricked a bunch of conduits, and that it was all a sham, right? At ease, Twyla. His crimes were soon brought to light, and in fact, their discovery coincided with the formation of the Circle. When do I get to say hi? Be like, hey guys. Do you guys have like Circle security that I can put in my store? Because apparently people might be kidnapping me. So, maybe Lau's a bad guy. Nah. One of the few good things the Zacian state's ever done. One of the few good things the Zenoan state... Did I say Zacian? Yeah, give me water. I thought of using water as almost like a punishment when I fuck things up. One of the few good things the Zenoan state's ever done, I'd argue, was to push for the Circle to be formed. Because of them, Zenoa was eventually able to put a stop to these creative criminals, but not after they deceived many an earnest conduit. Screw your plural. So, what is this Circle? Of course, the Circle of Conduits. They're the most sequestered department of the Chaos Response Sector. What? A secretive sect. Ooh, sect. Man, I haven't seen that word. Have I never seen that word? I've heard that word. I don't know if I've seen that word. A secretive sect of Zenoa's Chaos Response Sector that manages all the country's conduits' affairs. Little is known of them. They exclusively handle all conduit matters in Zenoa, ensuring conduits are kept safe and aren't harming others. Any services like yours or mine have to be registered under their name, you see. My ears perk up, which I now realize we'll have to do immediately. Sorry, Twyla, we'll have to close the door. Sorry, Twyla, we'll have to close the store for the time being. But what the fuck is... We'll have to close the store for the time being while I get in touch with them. Oh. Despite conduit crime Despite conduit crime being mostly a thing of the past. Despite conduit crime being mostly a thing of the past, it's still very risky to be running a store like this. Not to blame your friend, though. I doubt Lau would have known about the Circle. Not many do. Yeah, that's okay then. But wait, you said you had to register your conduit services too? What services? Right. I have a lot to explain to you, don't I? Well, there's a reason it's only ever been myself providing the gold, silver, and gems you use at this store. Are you giving them a little pizzazz, mister? I wonder, are you protecting them from spiritual contamination? I wonder, are you aware of the concept of spiritual contamination? Well, I'm about to find out. Spirits of the forces can only take on so much chaos. So they can only transform so much hence. Spirits of the forces can only take on so much chaos, so they can only transform so much. Hence, spirits contaminated with chaos are less malleable. Twyla's a spirit, right? They're all spirits. You all have spirits. That's kind of what I was hinting at there with the when we enchanted Narabel's piece, and it was like, I feel it within me. Not at all. Yep, we've read that. I didn't mean to click! The objects and forces of nature, they each have a certain capacity to transform, like you transform the metal you bend into a ring. This capacity is dependent on the amount of chaos in their spirit. For the best craftspeople, materials that possess some amount of chaos in their spirit are simply not as malleable as those with less chaos. And nowhere near as malleable as those with vacant spirits. Were we implying that the metal has a spirit? Malleable? Yes. It's not something that everybody notices. but expert artisans can tell right away the extent to which their materials are workable. Sometimes, for instance, some metal may simply not bend or melt as cleanly and consistently as others. Consistently? That is the word. Each professional knows the kinds of impurities in the final product that these small inconsistencies can create. But anyhow, what I do is provide stock to businesses like yours here, by picking out the materials with the least spiritual contamination. Oh. Of course, it's not as simple as choosing the highest quality goods. If it were, these mining companies wouldn't let me nick all their best stuff. Whether I pay top dollar for them or not. How do you know if a spirit is contaminated? Yes. Yes, where did that come from? Yes. Part of what you do with your enchanting, I'd expect, is tune into the spirit of your customer. From there, you can focus on the emotions they're exhibiting, and let them into your spirit, yes? Similarly, I can tune into the spirits of the materials. Whoa! You could be like, hey, what up, gold? What's inside you? Anger. Oh, you're a spicy boy. Similarly, I can tune into the spirits of the materials these companies source, and find what are the most quiet or vacant of chaos. Truth be told, my job's much easier on my spirit than I imagine yours would be. I'm not sure just how under the forces you've managed to enchant jewelry for customers so quickly. That's a real feat, Twyla. It is hard, you're right. I hope I've been doing a good job. But after all, I'm sure your materials are a big part of making the store what it is today. I'm glad to help out where I can. Aha! I don't know how to do as ahas. But wait, if Uncle has to go through all that effort to detect the chaos in our materials, why can the chaos in the jewelry I enchant be felt by anyone who wears it? Bitch! We're asking him all the questions today. We have another option to ask Uncle or move on. Like, I have to. I have to. What's at risk here if I don't? Have we closed the store yet? Like, are we delaying closing the store by doing this? What's the fucking downside? Let's ask Uncle. Uncle, why is it that my customers can feel the chaos in the jewelry I enchant? And yet, only conduits can feel the chaos in other forces. Ah, good question. You see, Twyla, there are two types of chaos. The chaos the average person sees and feels every day is one-way chaos. Alright, cool. One-way chaos can only be exhibited by people. It can't be received. Here, I'll draw it out for you. Oh, we get a drawing? Wow. Oh, lovely, amazing. So good. I wish there was a hide Twyla button. It makes screenshots real awkward. The forces can receive one-way chaos, but they can't exhibit it. They can, of course, use it to transform, as we see during outbursts. Okay, one-way chaos transfer. One-way chaos can't receive, non-conduit, can be exhibited, can be received. A natural force, e.g. a ring, can't be exhibited. You get that? Cool, neither. The key is, when conduits like us absorb chaos, their spirits convert it into two-way chaos. The only unique power we have as conduits, in fact, is the ability to convert chaos like this, and to retain two-way chaos within our spirits. And then... Hold on, I'll draw it out again first. Another drawing. Hey, look, it's Twyla. Oh, that's a cute little drawing. Oh my god. From there, when you transfer this two-way chaos into your jewelry, it remains that way. So we have non-conduit shouting into one-way. Transfer converts to two-way chaos to conduit. Conduit shouts two-way chaos. Can be perceived by a natural force, a ring, which can be exhibited by shouting chaos, I guess. Two-way chaos can also transfer, convert to one-way chaos to a non-conduit, which cannot be exhibited. Meaning, not only does the gem and material receive your chaos, it also exudes it. Oh, I get it. This is confusing me. Mainly the concept of one-way chaos coming into a human being and then not being able to exert it? Like, does that just mean if you touch the human being, you don't feel that energy? Or if you're just in their presence, you don't? Like, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's just interesting because emotions are interesting. But of course, non-conduits can't maintain two-way pairs. But of course, non-conduits can't maintain two-way pairs within their spirits. So when your customers receive emotions from your jewelry, it reverts to one-way pairs. That's so cool, Uncle. You know so much about all this. I had no idea. I just know the basics, kid. But you can trust the circle and I to look out for you. Speaking of, I should go talk to them now, Twyla. Get you in the store registered and let them know how your enchanting works. Hopefully they'll give us the okay on what you're doing here. Yeah. Shouldn't I, like, come with? I mean, I guess maybe he needs to, like... It's super secretive, so he needs to be like... Okay, circle, listen. I have this... Why is his accent changing when he's talking to the circle? Listen, I have this niece of mine. She's a conduit. In a very sudden turn of events, Tracy came home. She had this whole storm going on, and is it okay? Listen, when you have a store, can she come into the circle? Trust me, she's a conduit. Her mother was a conduit. She was a conduit. The first one isn't really confirmed in her eyes, but I'm pretty sure it's true. Anyway. Don't worry. Since the Circle have exclusive knowledge and conduit powers and capabilities, Xenoan State leaves them to their own desires. So, while the state itself would likely kick up a fuss, chances are the Circle would be more than fine with your store. That's a relief. I'll keep you posted, Twyla. See you soon. Bye, Uncle. Does that mean, like, we just waste the day because... Wow. The next week? Oh my god. Is this gonna be a short day? Like, are we not gonna have any Zayasin customers next? Is the day gonna end? Is that when I'm gonna end the recording? I feel like I've gone through so little, but I've been recording for only 52 minutes. For the next week, the store was closed. I spent my time resting, getting back into reading, and crafting some little pieces of jewelry for practice. Uncle came around a few times after speaking with the Circle. Things will be fine, he said. We just have to wait. He was adamant I rest up, afraid that tiredness would disturb my spirit, especially since I was utaining. I love the fucking art style of this fucking game. Fucking fuck. YouTube, don't, just because I said fuck like 5 times in a row, don't fucking restrict who can view this video too much, please. Come on, man. Be a doll. Just have a pop-up that's like, warning, this video contains, swearing. I don't know, coarse language, is that what it's usually called in things? And then, yay. Cool. I mean, mark the video as not for kids, that should be enough. In my eyes. I don't know. Yeah, some people were stricter about swearing than others. He even taught me some meditation techniques to ensure my payas levels were in balance. Meditating felt odd, but I slowly started getting used to it. I was learning so much about conduits, payos, and this new side of Uncle. Things seemed to be going well. I was using my time wisely and improving on myself, but also getting some rest. But is it weird that I'm suspicious? Like, aren't things going a bit too well? Yes, in fact, this is a story, and we are halfway through the story. Something's going to happen, and then it's going to build back up, and everything's going to be dandy. Or terrible, or super sad. We'll find out. Fucking... You have a number? Did she give you a number? Was that established in the story? This fucking drawing is so fucking cute! You should have! Not that I could fucking say anything. I had thought about texting Jazz to ask to hang out, but decided not to. Perhaps later. It's only been a week. And besides, I was grateful for the time to myself. There was so much to reflect on. 2 crazy days, and a week to put it all into perspective. The night before the Twilight Jeweler was set to open up again, Lau had a little time to spare for a quick chat. Are we doing this again? Ooh, nighttime. Oh, it's so much more purple now. Oh, my. Hello! That felt really weird in my throat. Anyway, that's the end of this recording. Nope, episode. The recording still has a bit more to go. So, the circle. Isn't that spicy? The stuff, hereditary conduitism, you know? Interesting. Buttons. I really like doing these, so thank you for watching. Please stick around for more. That sounded too desperate. Please, I need this. You know, and you know how you can make that happen. You know. There are these mysterious things that I like to refer to as the buttons. There are 3 of them that are the most notable one of which only unlocks when you click one of the other buttons. God, I hate this. So, just, you can, you know, I'll just leave that in your mind. Good week tonight. Thank you for watching. I will catch you later. Good boober. Hee hee. Boobs.